Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Good evening, all. Thank you for coming to the town board meeting, July 2nd, 2024. Please rise to salute the flag. Jim Niles will lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Morgan,
Here.
Councilwoman McMahon,
Here.
Councilman Niles,
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here. Okay, before we get started here, we got Mike, he's been taking care of the playground project for us. He just wants to give us a little discussion on how far it's going. And so we're moving along fine. You're on.
Thank you. Mike Panish here. I helped kind of guide the team that was comprised of Jim Niles and Tracy Clothier and Supervisor Merlino earlier last year in developing a plan alongside Compan Playground to essentially design a potential playground, destination playground for our town that would be located at the town's Pavilion Park. Luckily enough, we had a beautiful design and it seemed a relatively realistic budget. And we applied for a grant at the beginning of the year that Tracy Clothier helped the town apply for, and we won the grant. We got the money to pay for a substantial amount of the playground. And so we're moving forward now. I believe the grant is funded through the New York State DEC. The actual name of the grant itself escapes me, but through the DEC, and they're looking to start spinning up everything. And kind of the first step of all of that is to form a committee that would be comprised of community stakeholders, just people in town that want to be part of this process. It doesn't have to be a large group, it can be very small. But I spoke to Jim over the weekend as we're kind of in talks with DEC on how we're going to start this up. And he suggested that we form the committee. And he also suggested that I take the lead, given that he's got his own time constraints. So I agreed that I'd be happy to take over as the head of this committee that is yet to be formed. I believe the first meeting with DEC, a more formal meeting where we'll go over all the small details of what the grant requirements are and how to go through each step properly, is going to occur around July 22nd. And by then I'm hoping that we'll have the team formed. And so I'm here just to let you guys know kind of that process and that we've come this far, and then we're kind of, the wheels are starting to turn and
I have it as the 23rd.
Oh, 23rd. Apologies. I know there's
Place in there.
confusion on Monday versus Tuesday and dates.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I have to say, that I'm very pleased with what you did. You got the grant for us. It's 125,000.
Yep.
And you've done a lot of work, and there's been a few other people that have joined you and looking at our grounds and engineering it. So it's something that town's been looking forward to for quite a few years. So I hope it'll probably get started sometime in the fall. And I think maybe not, maybe spring. That's going to be up to some of the stuff that has to go through.
Yes. Yeah. We'll hammer out those details once we kind of get everybody collected and we get through the process of the startup.
Yeah, I want to add one thing, well, two things actually. Those of you that don't know, Mike he's on our planning board, okay? But he's a registered landscape architect. And I think thank you shout out should go to Dara Survey.
Definitely.
Aaron,
Yes. Their survey was very kind.
For nothing. Located every tree, building, slopes, topographic lines.
Yes. And all that's going to be instrumental in
Right.
installing it properly.
It'll let us.
It took a while to get it all put together, but you guys did a great job, and I deeply appreciate it. I know the townspeople will.
So I guess the only thing I would kind of like to find out, you guys are okay, like leading this charge, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
He and I, and anybody that wants to give us some info, we would like to give probably 3 or 4 more people on the committees. One one of the things is we want to try to raise 75 grand if we can.
Ideally.
Whole thing all at once.
Yeah, so the plans that I presented to you a few months ago are kind of the full vision that ideally we would love to put that in. The funding that we receive from the state can help us get quite a bit to that point, but not all the way there. So it's, you know, depending on our success, if we do the fundraising route, we can either try to build the whole thing, or we might have to end up phasing it where we, you know, build part of it now using the grant funding and then seek additional funding in the future. But I think all that's to be determined, but ideally we're in a part of really the main focus of this committee, besides steering the project towards implementation, is going to be how can we use the resources of the community and reach out to the community and try to get their help in making this come to reality. So reach out to our local businesses, Stewart's as an example, and find out if they'd be willing to help.
So how many do you have on your committee now?
Right now, I mean, officially the committee hasn't formed.
Tony Springer.
I reached out to Tony yesterday to see if she was interested, and she said that she'd be happy to help, which would be a great resource because she's got a lot of experience in running and managing these sorts of things and fundraising. So
Yeah.
I would be honored to help.
I would welcome your assistance. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Do you think realistically construction would be in the spring?
I think most likely if we're going to enter into like a fundraising campaign, we should concentrate on fundraising through the end of summer and fall, early winter, and then go out to bid in the, you know, the new year with expectation to break ground in the spring.
Yeah.
Because that'll essentially, we don't want to finalize the plan until we know exactly what the budget is. And then once we have that, we can finalize a plan and then go out to bid.
Yeah, we'll need that to place the order for the equipment.
Exactly.
Everything or not everything.
Exactly. And that'll shift the exact layout of everything. Because we don't want to have giant gaps in the playground. So if we end up doing a phase one project where we select different things, if they were in the grand vision, they were disparate elements throughout the plan, we'll want to concentrate them into one central area.
I don't know why this just popped in my head, but Mike and I are putting together a laminated poster. It's got 3 or 4 of those drawings in it that we
The
saw.
renderings from the
And,
company.
we were wondering if it's okay with everybody if we put that up someplace during the concert so people can look at it.
Just to raise awareness of it as kind of
Good
a
idea or bad idea?
Yeah.
wet the palate before we enter into any fundraising.
And won't have Gene's name and phone number on it.
Don't start trouble.
Mike, thanks a lot for coming in at such short notice.
No,
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank you.
giving me your time.
I mean, I'll sit there Friday and I'll shoot over to.
All right, so next
I'll
part of the
probably drop it
meeting,
off tomorrow.
next
Okay,
part of the
call me.
meeting,
Thanks for raising the agenda. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm always ready.
all right, the next part of the meeting is to open the floor to the public on proposed legislation that we're gonna pass. Anybody has any comments on them, haven't read on it, it's. All right, so. Lori, don't we open this for people to discuss things before we start? Huh? There's no, you want, you wait until the end,
Yeah.
or I see people here, that's all.
Legislation is in the beginning, other
Okay.
comment is at the end, unless they're presenting something.
All right, Lori, you want to read the resolutions then? Let's move forward.
Resolution to pay the bills of the 12th abstract as 2024 as presented. General fund vouchers 3537 to 3564. And we're going to amend that to also include voucher number 3572. Which is 3229.99 plus the 19,171.82. That 3229.99 is for a mower that had to be paid for. Highway fund vouchers 3565 to 3566, $123,961.85. SW1 water vouchers 3567 to 3570, $490.12. And SW2 water fund voucher 3571 for $30.
I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to accept minutes, which I gave you and I didn't write down the dates.
I have
I got them right here.
The 9th and 16th of April.
Yeah.
16th
And
and
then
the 9th.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
You need a motion on that?
I wasn't here for one of them,
Okay.
but yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion to approve.
a second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Sorry, that's your job.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to provide $12,000 in occupancy tax funds to the Chamber of Commerce for the summer concert series. Yes. There's
Okay,
an
I need a
agreement.
motion on that.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, and before we vote, just to let people that weren't here at our last agenda meeting, this money is going to the chamber from our town occupancy money. Because we were able to get more money from the county, 12,000. But at the county, you have to spend it first before they'll give you the check to replace it. So we're using our money to get it going. And when they get all the bills in, it gets turned over to the county and we'll get a check back for 12,000. So just so everybody knows what that's for. So I got a motion in a second.
Okay,
I got a motion in a second.
okay. I just have to correct the resolution to make sure that it's in full. Resolution to provide the $12,000 in occupancy tax funds to the Chamber of Commerce for the summer concert series and to enter into the tourism promotion agreement
Oh, that's right.
and authorize Supervisor Merlino to execute such agreement.
You all got a copy of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys all right with changing your motion
Yes.
All right.
to that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to enter into an agreement with the Lake Luzerne Association and provide $3,000 in occupancy tax funds to purchase supplies for lake monitoring and other items as per attachment of the LLA Environmental Committee budget 2024.
I get a motion on that or any questions?
I'll make a motion.
And I'll second.
And I'll give you a little explanation if you'd like.
Ken?
Couple of weeks ago, we talked about some of the items that we'd like to get with that money. And second thing is I think I would have to add a contingency that the agreement be approved, be written up and approved by the town attorney.
All right, you got any questions on that? Oh, all right, okay. Any other thing? All right.
Okay.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Resolution to release semi-annual payment to Rockwell Falls EMS as per contract and receipt of annual financial statement in the amount of $187,622.86.
You all got a copy of their audit and the whole agreement from the whole year. We give them X amount in January and the rest when they get the audit to us. It just came in last. week. So I need a motion to move forward with that.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it, but I got one question. I couldn't find my copy of our agreement with them. Is the amount correct?
Colleen gave me the amount.
It's correct.
Okay.
I would
Thank
say
you.
so.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none carried. resolution to post legal notice to receive RFPs as it pertains to garbage pickup in the town of Lake Luzerne and to accept such RFPs in the town clerk's office. The deadline for submission is whatever you guys set it at. And the board reserves the right to reject any or all submissions.
I'll make a motion.
How about we make it, at the, agenda meeting, 2 weeks instead of. No, we don't have, had a meeting? Okay, fine. All right. All right.
They're ready to go, right?
Well, we gotta put
All
a
the
date
things
in here
need
when
to
we want them
set
back.
these dates.
Only has to provide 5 days, I want to provide more.
It's a long time away. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have it. We can have it.
Do we have?
Yeah,
Oh, when will it be published?
Well,
all right,
Probably not till-
let's do the one July 31st, 10 AM. Okay.
okay. July 31st. Usually.
Did anybody make a motion yet?
Okay.
I made the motion.
Yeah, we made a motion.
It's here.
I'll second.
Okay,
All right, in July 31.
Yeah.
All right,
10
10
a.m.
a.m. Yeah, it's already in there. Okay. And then that's all I have and we're on to reports.
We have a resolution.
Yeah, we didn't vote on that yet.
Oh, all in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried. Okay,
All right, down to reports. Councilman Moore,
I'll pass.
Councilman,
I did talk with Pam Petties about joining together with the Chamber of Commerce. And if she was not able to come today, she would come down to the clerk's office and sign.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
But that's all I have.
Councilman Niles.
I got a couple things.
How come you?
When we were putting the agenda together, I forgot to bring this up. Town council has worked out an acceptable agreement between herself and the LaBerge group. You were, okay, that's fine with me.
That's her report.
That's fine with me. Next thing, I got a call from Rosemary Gardner. She was on the library board. I think July 1st was the end of her term. She asked me if we would consider helping them clean out the basement of the library. It's probably 2 pickup trucks worth of, there's an old boiler down there, there's 2 or 3 sheet metal plenums, some old windows, some old tables. It's not stinky, nasty garbage, but the fire marshal told the library board that's got to be cleaned out. I took the liberty to talk to Rick. And he says it could be a good rainy day project, but of course it's up to the board this board to decide if we want to spend a day or two in a pickup truck to help them clean out the basement. I put a call into Mo, but I never heard back to see if he would help out.
Are you asking for the town board to clean up?
No, not the
No,
board,
I
the
asked
building the
about
grounds
the
of the
grounds.
house.
Team.
And maybe Ron could throw in a guy or 2 or something.
I'm fine with that.
I have no problem with that.
And you-
I would even
Yeah.
help if needed.
Yeah, I've got it. I think I can talk my son into it. Rick was kind of thinking maybe a rainy day, but I don't know if we could make rainy day.
Make everything wet.
Yeah.
All right, are you for it? Let's keep it going.
Okay,
For it, yes.
some good news, we found a grand total of 2 Eurasian milfoil plants in the, like, out of millions you had last year. So we're real happy about that. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, good. So we don't need a resolution, but the board approves them to do it. It's fine, right?
You don't want to know what
And you want to,
know what I'm gonna say.
go ahead. Do you want a resolution? We'll make a no? I know what you're gonna say, but we'll move on. All right. Highway Superintendent, Ron Dool.
Howe Road, we finished up today.
That is nice.
Please take a ride, check it out.
Yeah.
We've got a 5-foot squish culvert to put on River Road. I can do blacktop on Pine Tree Court. Ralph Road, we're doing a mile of overlay and skim coat and overlay on that, but we have 6 different culverts to exchange out. So we're busy. That's all I got.
All right, you settled with Mr. Franzoso?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, good. Zoning, Karen Putney?
Okay, we sent out the report today. You should have it in your email. There's a printout for you at your area as well. The only thing that I want to add to that report is I have given this to Ron Duell. I received an email from Frontier who wants to do some work up in the Heights, putting in some fiber optic stuff, some aerial, some buried fiber, and some anchors. And they were asking whether any permits or anything were required. So I passed it on to Ron since it's all road, highway stuff, and printed it out for Ron. It involves quite a few streets up there. There's not much buried. It seems to be more aerial than anything, and then the anchors. So Ronnie's got that. The other thing that I wanted to report is at the last planning board meeting, Evergreen Estates came in front of the board with finalized preliminary plat, basically, and the planning board did accept that. They are looking to come to the board soon to ask again to have the town take over the road and the stormwater maintenance. And so I just wanted to give you a heads up that at some point they will be making a presentation to the board for that. Ronnie just did look at the plans again. He's got a couple of comments. We're gonna have to talk about how to approach that. And do you want me to speak for you on this? I went talking to him about the road, the town taking over the road. He wants to make sure that if you do decide to take over the road, that you have a stipulation in there that the road is completely finished and the stormwater is completely finished before the town takes it over. Not to have it partially done, but to have the complete thing, the complete road done and the complete stormwater system in before the town takes it over. And they will have to deed over a portion of the land to the town for that, if that's what you end up doing. And again, it'll be your decision whether you do that or not. And that's all I have.
Karen, is he gonna go with the size of the road that the town?
They have, right now, it's proposed at 28 feet wide. Ronnie just pointed out to me that it's 11-foot lanes too. So that's 22 feet with 3 feet shoulders on each side. It comes out to 28 feet paved side to side, which is what is called for in our ordinance. However, Ron would like it to be 24 feet lanes to 12 paved lanes.
12-foot lane.
And then he said if they only have 2-foot shoulders, that's fine, which will make the 28 feet, but that's one change that we've got to talk about with them. And the other is the thickness
Of the pavement.
of the pavement. They're about a half inch?
Yeah, they're about an inch on each binder and top. I've just seen so many roads fail because of not enough blacktop. And I'm looking out for the town, so we need to make sure that.
As long as we're following through on that, that's good. All right.
This is a different subdivision than the one we considered earlier. So totally-
This
This is
is
the
over
one up
on
in the
Paul
Heights,
Street.
right? Oh, on
It's
Paul
over on
Street.
Paul Street.
Is this the one that was submitted a couple of years ago? Now it's coming back.
It was a pre-approved, it was an approved subdivision. What? The DOH sunset clause had it had expired,
And it
so they had
takes-
to come back and they had different wetlands in there now than what was before. Things had to change, so they've made those changes, but basically it's the same number of lots and everything.
All right, Karen, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Deputy Clerk, Lori?
Okay, we've given you our June clerk report. It's quite a bit more substantial than the last few months. A lot of short-term rental recertifications and the transfer station money is up quite a bit. We just sent out the SW1 water bill, so we're collecting on both SW1 and SW2 at this point, and we'll do so through October 15th, at which time any unpaid bills will then be re-levied on your town and county tax bill for 2025. Matt Schuett from Marshall and Sterling wanted to know if the board would like him to come and go over anything with the insurance renewals, which we gave you packets on a few weeks ago. He'd be willing to come, I believe Colleen can confirm, possibly for the agenda meeting. If the board would like him to do
I
so.
think we'd like to see him. We
Yeah.
Always
Okay.
have questions, right? Okay. Yeah, set it up for that agenda.
Okay.
That'll-
Okay, and I believe that is it for me.
All right,
Your
Mary,
short-term
the
rental
attorney?
officer has something to report.
what?
Your short-term rental officer has something to report.
All right, short-term rental officer, make your report.
Thank
It's
you.
not written here.
Sorry, Chris.
Well, I'll make sure it's in the agenda next time.
Go ahead.
Mary has drafted 3 third and final notices of violation to short-term rental properties that have been non-compliant. Believe she sent them out.
I did 4.
Well, I'm sorry, 4 new ones.
Oh, okay. I was
And-
like, did
all
I
right,
do-
and we've got two properties that are also existing and still non-compliant that have received a 3rd warning notice. So, we're still working on that, still have at least 6 properties here that are giving us a hard time, so.
Thank you, Chris. It's not an easy job, but you're handling it well. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, the attorney, Mary.
All right, so we have been in contact with LaBerge, and they have actually accepted all of our requested changes except for 2, which what they changed it to is actually fine. They wouldn't just go with the statutory statute of limitations, but they raised it to 6 years, which is the longest statute of limitations you're gonna get for any claim anyway. So that's fine. And then the other one was the liability. They raised it to the amount of their insurance coverage, which is also fair. So damages probably wouldn't exceed that anyway, because usually people are looking for the amount of your insurance. So it's acceptable to us at this point, so it's up to you guys.
Any questions on
I'm
it?
kind of springing this on you short notice. I apologize for that. But I would wonder if the board might be told to move ahead with this.
I think we should. It's been a while that
It's
we've been
been a long
tossing
time.
around.
I know that last time we were discouraged and said, forget it. Well, they actually came back with a counter proposal. The reason I'd like to move ahead with it, if everybody's comfortable, is because the big grant application that we got going through, Congresswoman
Stefanik, yeah.
has gone to the next step.
Mhm.
Now, I don't know how many steps we've ever gone to before,
This is the first time it's gone this far, so.
so
maybe,
we're not spending any money, just saying we have this company available if we want to use it. So
Yeah.
are you guys comfortable with going ahead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, so that's the contract. There's no money involved
Yeah.
until we call them to
There is a
perform a
rate.
job.
Mhm.
But they give us the rates of what it would be if we go.
Right.
You saw that. Okay,
Yep.
good.
Mary, are we within our rights to go ahead and move forward to that?
Yeah.
So should I make a motion? I'd like to make a motion that we proceed with the consulting agreement with LaBerge Group. As modified and reviewed by Attorney Castain.
I'll second that.
Any other questions? All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none carried.
All right, now it's oh, you got more? I'm sorry.
Just one other thing. As Chris said, we did 4 violation notices today. They did go out. You all, oh, I think we only copied you, Chris, but I can send them to the board if you'd like. And then we have one owner of two properties who we've already sent a letter to, so at this point, we need to discuss whether or not we want to commence actual litigation against them. But we should do that in executive session after.
You
You asked for an executive session. Okay, so at the end of the meeting, we'll say what that is, right? Okay. All right, it's my turn now. The only thing that we did discuss that wood cutting in the water district, anybody agree or disagree, so we can move forward. If you disagree, no problem, we'll just table it. If you feel it's something we should do. It's up to you.
Yeah.
We were gonna wait on that, weren't we?
What's that?
You talking about the wood harvesting?
Yeah, the wood harvest, the logging of some of the road, some of the property we own.
Yeah, we were gonna wait on that.
You're gonna wait on it? Okay, so. we'll
I thought
table-
that's what-
we'll
yeah.
table it right now. Okay, that's good. We'll table it. The other thing, those kayak and canoes. They've been an aggravation for 3 weeks, but we finally got it under control.
I think it looks great.
We have 29 people that purchased a permit. We have 5 left. If we feel by the end of this week or earlier, might need more, we'll make more. But it's, everybody loves it. And it makes it easy for a lot, especially the older people. They don't have to lug them all the way around.
How many racks did you have before you built the new ones?
We had 21.
21.
Now we have 30, 34, I think. And they went fast.
Yeah,
We had a waiting list.
yeah.
We'll see what happens. We still have 5 left.
Can I say just for the record, there's 3, because 2 of those are spoken for.
Oh, today, yeah? Okay, so we have 3 left.
Those are your kayaks, Lori?
Not a chance.
Okay. All right, so I don't get out of sync. I had a lot of requests from people and I agree with it wholeheartedly, and I think this board will. A couple of people want to know why we don't have any American flags flying in our town. So we are putting up our regular tourism flags, and I ordered 10 of them today. They were picked up and they should have most of them up tomorrow. So we'll have some American flags, and I agree with it wholeheartedly. And it was under the procurement. All right, and the only other thing, I'm not gonna mention why, but I'm gonna say this at the next meeting for the rest of this year. Please wear your seatbelts. I, for one, had an experience and it saved my life last week. So I never wore them at all. Till I got stopped 2 or 3 weeks ago by a patrolman. He says, you gotta wear your seatbelt. And I said, okay, because he called me supervisor. I should know better. And I did wear it last Thursday night, according to the state troopers and everybody at the accident. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that seatbelt on me. So you're gonna hear it from me. I think it's gotta be done. Right? Mary, do you wanna ask for it?
Public-
Oh, so I'm sorry, public, okay, time for the public. Anybody here that wants to? Yeah, we ask you to come up, state your name and your address if it's in town and why you're here.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Onesti. I'm at 195, 197 Hall Hill Road. We're here to discuss the ongoing problem with the water washing out our driveway, which Gene, you know about it. Ron, you know about it because you guys are on it. You guys come here, you clean the road right up, washes our driveway completely out. I saw you did the work on the culvert. That's not the fix. I'm telling you this from an engineering point of view. I shot all the elevations of the road. The road pitches the wrong way. What happens is here, hold on. Yeah. Thanks. I don't think I made it back up.
All right, that's,
He's not here. Thank you.
Thanks.
So you know where. we're talking about.
you got one left for Ron?
Oh, yeah, we got it. You know.
I don't need one either. Yeah, I don't need one.
You want to? So as you can see, 193, 197 is at Piscina's an hour driveway. That's our driveway on the right, on the west. The north is the Cook's driveway. I don't know I think it's 146 is the house they just built on Hall Hill Road a couple of years ago. That's the other driveway up there on the east side of the road. And if you look at 75 feet from our driveway, I do this for a living. 75 feet from our driveway, the middle of the road is 3 1/16 higher than the west side. The east side is 6 3/16 higher. That water is running nothing but toward us. The culvert's on the other side of the road. So why is the culvert over there when the road pitches to the west? When the culvert's on the east, the road needs to be pitched the other way. And then as you come down to 50 feet from our driveway, it's 4 15/16 in the middle, 4 3/4. That does have a crown. So the water comes down and starts headed toward us, hits the crown, it'll straighten right out. Ron, you've cleaned that road up a million times and you guys do a great job cleaning up. You really do. And it's greatly appreciated. I'm not bashing you. I'm thanking you for the way you clean it up. But once you get down to 25 feet, now you have a perfect pitch for water to run. That dotted line running across, Ron, your guys are right there cleaning all those rocks up because it's emptying out the shoulder stone and just dumping it right across the road. And that's the exact line it takes. And then at our house, at our driveway, it's pitched correctly, 25 feet to the south. It's again, 6 3/16 on the east, 3 1/16 in the middle, and 0 on the west. So that water is just coming the other way. The road is designed wrong, it's built wrong. These are undisputable facts. The road needs to be repaired because, and my other question to you is, I see everyone who has a paved driveway paves right up to the existing road. So that means I could pave where my property meets the existing road. Is that allowed to be done? If I pave my driveway, can I pave it up to the road?
Everyone does.
That's what everyone.
That's what
does.
everyone does. So.
But wouldn't it make more water go right down your driveway?
No, it won't, because I'll pave the entire side from 75 feet to 50 feet past my driveway and pitch it 4 inches. I won't do that. I can't do that in good conscience because all that water is going to go into Charbonneau's property and that's not the right thing to do.
Well, I think I was up there last week with Ron and we were looking at what you got this line going across. We were looking at maybe down the road is putting a culvert there to bring it up further because this, where you got 50 here, that's a deep like trench area with just trees and stuff. If in my mind, and I think Ron and I were talking about it, it could go on our schedule to do it, to put a culvert there so it catches that water, not going across the road, but under the road and dumping in that. It's a large area to dump water in.
It's not going to fix it.
You don't think it'll fix it?
I know it won't.
Okay, then you know
I
better
do
than me,
know.
Ron, so.
I do know for a fact that will not fix it. The road needs to be milled and repitched. Because you can't put 1 inch of asphalt down because I understand you put it out for bid and of course, who wouldn't want to hire the cheapest guy? But if they're just putting asphalt down, they're not putting anything down on top of the old asphalt, it's all peeling up now.
Same thing.
It's like you said before, you can't put an inch down and call it a day. It doesn't work. It needs to be milled and repitched is the only way to fix this.
Well, I think Ron will look at it and make some decisions.
Exactly what you're talking about. That we overlaid what was there, so it wasn't hidden on my.
Oh, no, not at all.
The road was bad, it needed a paving, so we overlaid it. With the rock that we put down and the water bars that we are going to keep an eye on and tend to. Let's see how it works out.
Okay.
I think a lot of the stone in that ditch line that we just did is gonna solve a lot of the problem sediment coming across and,
Okay.
into that catch basin.
We could put a pin in it for now, but I can tell you from experience, it's not going to work. Because the water isn't making it into the ditch, not all of it. It's not making it into what you guys did a great job laying all that stone there. It looks great. looks great.
I feel that your 25, your 50, and your 75, we have a water bar going off. We have a runoff. You don't think they're gonna work?
We just had a storm.
No, it's not gonna work.
Saturday.
Because at 75 feet, the water's heading toward the west. At 50 feet, it straightens out because it's only 3/16 of an inch difference in pitch. So water's not moving that fast in
From the
3/16.
middle to the edge?
From the middle to the edge, it's 3/16. Once you get past 50 toward 25, it just does this and heads toward the west. And that's why it picks up all of that shoulder stone and washes it over.
I gotta say different, because I've seen runoffs where the water just wore it right out. I've seen it.
Okay,
So let's.
we could
just
put a
see
pin in
how
it for now. Let's
how
see
these
what
work.
happens.
I
Absolutely.
know that the water's gonna wear away the dirt and everything, and I'll go put up rock in those runoffs. But I think the rock up on the other side is gonna stop a lot of sediment, but let's see how these work,
Okay, fair enough.
let's give it a chance.
Okay,
The cost and the money there to grind that road up and redo it all, it's not there, I don't have it.
oh, no, more than understandable. That's more than understandable. But I can pave from my property.
Yeah,
I can do that. And you guys aren't gonna rip it up, because you guys dug up our property. I don't know why. Above to the north of our driveway. Went down with a bucket, just dug a big trench. I don't know why.
lately,
Last week.
is it the runoff though?
No, it's a bucket. It's the width of a bucket.
I saw the bucket there.
I don't know. I just saw it when I came home one day.
Alright, well, I'll look at it, but I don't remember.
I don't know it. I don't know how this works, and this is a question. It's not a statement, it's a question. I mean, can the town go on my property and dig a trench to dump water on my property? Is that legal? Yeah, sorry.
It has to
I
be a
don't know,
little
so I
bit.
have to
if it-
ask. That's the only
it
way
has
you'll
to
learn,
be a
is to
little
ask.
bit, if it's necessary to get our equipment to do it, we can do a little bit of it.
Oh, no, it's gotta go somewhere.
Somewhere, so if it's your property or next person's property,
I just don't understand the whole covert pipe you put from
the culvert pipe.
from the
crosses-
north of Cook's property over to Mr. Pacina's property. I don't know why you did continue that culvert under his two driveways, and there's not a house to
So
be
you want
found
me
on
to
that side.
add 2 more pipe or underneath someone else's driveway?
No, I don't understand why that's
There
not
was a
what you
pipe
did.
there Before he bought that property, and all we did is change it out.
Okay,
because
I
it
don't
was
know. That's what
rocky.
I'm asking. I'm
Yeah.
asking. That's all I'm doing.
And to run water straight down a straight line, that's not something we should do,
No,
because it's gonna gain more momentum more.
right. I mean, if you come up Gurney Lane, you look at the way they did it, they did the rocks like you did, and then they put 1 foot of rock like this every 10 feet, because I stopped and measured it
At Gurney Lane?
on Gurney Lane. Is that Gurney Lane?
Yes,
Gurney Lane, yes.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
it's between Gurney turns into Goggins. So
Okay,
it's
yeah.
on that road.
You see, they did the rock like you did, and then they put every 10 feet, like 1 foot of rock like this, of the big rock
Like
again.
a check dam.
Yes,
Yes.
And it
Yeah,
just-
I put check dams across there. A couple.
yeah. But you know, the water just comes down the road,
Yeah.
and that's what it does.
I'm not saying it doesn't.
You know.
If I could just say something.
Go ahead.
I lived up here a lot longer than my husband, and we moved up here in the late 70s, early 80s, well, there was 2 moves. Same driveway. Up until, and even, right, we moved here, what, in 2012,
Yes.
back home. Have not seen this except for the last, what, maybe 2 years? We put so much, we bought so much stone to try to keeping our driveway, because I've never seen it wash out since 1980, as far as I can remember. And then all of a sudden, these past couple of years, a couple of people moved in over there. There's a lot of logging going on. But I don't know. But I've never seen this happen, and it's every rainstorm. And if you
you know, been here the last, I don't know, 6 weeks. We've had about 12 storms. So it's like Beirut, trying to get in and out of the driveway.
And you guys do a great job cleaning it up.
We do a little blacktop apron with a berm or a little
Yeah.
swale, so it,
But
Whatever, you know?
you know what I
Well,
mean? That could be an option.
Yeah, I don't know that, I just, I don't know the only solution I have is move the road or or just pave the edge, that's.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, mathematically, it's the only two things that work.
All right.
Okay.
You have something?
Well, no, I think there's two problems. One is that pit that you put in.
Yeah.
And then the second is the water coming out that road when it rains. So with what you did to that pit, okay, if that works, but I would love to hear Mary's county attorney, which I was told 4 years ago when I was here, that water runoff from the town is not the taxpayer's problem.
I represent the town. Can't give you guys legal advice. So you can hire your own attorneys that can.
Well, I mean,
What if the runoff was there before you bought that house?
And I understand that, and I understand maybe that's why that pitch is like that, because it used to be woods.
Yeah, yeah.
But now
Yeah.
you got a landowner there, and it's still, that's my responsibility. to have
What?
all-
The
To
pit?
have that pit in the water shooting onto my property. I mean, and I
We
understand
agreed,
that.
we agreed. It's on tape that we thought this was gonna be a good solution.
And I understand that, right?
I think it's gonna be an okay solution, as now that I got the rock in the other side. So let me get that cleaned out and let me keep an eye on those.
Perfect. That's, you know what? You can't ask for any more than that, Ron.
Right.
Short of walking on water, you can't ask for more than that, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so let's put a pin in it and let's pray we don't get another heavy rain. But if we do, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
That's huge
Okay.
storm. Yeah, I'll write up and I'll sit there and just, see what happens.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming. All right, Mary back. All right, who is it? Who is it?
It's Al Riley.
All right, you're on, Riley?
Yep.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. I know we're still in litigation over this Sherman Road thing. And I sent Ron some pictures of what these people have done to the road again. They dug up the culvert that was in there. They destroyed the road. They flooded it. They put piles of rock and logs in there. We ended up going back to the judge. The judge told them to have it fixed and passable by this Friday night at 6 o'clock. So it could be used pending the litigation between the town and Hazlett's. But I sent an email. I sent you a copy, Gene. I sent it to Crow. I sent it to Ron. It's just a proposal for the town board to consider. And that would end the litigation, I think, besides.
Apologize, I don't remember seeing it. I've been kind of busy in the last couple of weeks, but if you would send it to me again, I'll look at it tomorrow.
I think I sent
I'll
it to
give
the
it to
clerk.
Mr. Crow
I-
because he's the attorney.
Yeah,
handling
he's
all
got it. He's
Oh,
got it.
got it.
We were in a video conference with the judge the other day, and their attorney is telling them that they have the right to keep that road blocked, and the judge is telling them they don't have the right to keep it blocked. And they went in and started fixing it yesterday, but then after they fixed where they dug it up, they put rocks back in the middle of the road again. Now, I don't know if they're doing that just to keep it that way until Friday night at 6 o'clock, just to be mean, or what their reasoning is, but it's getting out of hand. 3 years now this has been going on. We're paying taxes on a place we can't even get to use. It's ridiculous.
Well,
But
the
I-
only thing I can tell you, look, we are all filled for you, but it's in litigation and there's attorneys taking care of that. And that's about the most we can comment on it that I can,
I understand that, but I'll send it to you again. but just, I would, and I'll send it in writing to the entire board for consideration once the litigation is over.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Out? Oh, okay. Back to this. Go ahead.
Diane Powers, 90 Sagamore Drive. I just had a couple questions about the short-term rental regulation law. Is the public comment period still open? And where does any changes to that stand?
Well, it's closed and adopted our last meeting, right? Correct?
I believe so.
I believe at the last meeting you postponed the vote.
Yep, to the meeting that we had 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And is the revised law posted on the website now?
I can double check, but I believe it is.
Chris is saying yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you won't accept any other comments? And is there during a public hearing, is there a time limit that someone can speak? I was told they could only speak for 3 minutes. And I was also told that any question may or may not be answered. I believe that if it's a public hearing, you should be entertaining a little bit longer time, especially when I was the only one to show up. There were no other comments.
That's up to the board. Any more comments?
It was a public hearing. And I was told I could only speak for 3 minutes
That is a policy that we have. We usually stretch it.
during a public hearing. I know most people have comments for more than 3 minutes. I just had a couple other questions that weren't really answered. And one of the questions that I had was, does the rental law apply to owner use? Because oftentimes an owner is using their property and then also renting it out short term. And if you look at some of the data that's out there, that is very typical. And so does the law, like in terms of fireworks and garbage cans and occupancy and noise, does that all apply to owner use as well? I just need to be able to tell my owners.
All of those are town ordinances that apply to everyone who live in Lake Luzerne. They didn't add any noise ordinance, fireworks.
The occupancy restriction applies just to short-term rentals. As far as I know, there's no occupancy restriction on a single family home.
What do you mean by that?
So in the regulation, you're limiting occupancy to just what the fire marshal is saying. So
That's
if
a state issue, so you're gonna have to take that up with, or is it county here? County.
no, what I'm asking is if an owner chooses to use their property and exceed occupancy, is that a violation? And if they're not renting it?
Oh, it's your own property. I
But
also
if-
don't wanna get sucked into these hypotheticals, cause I mean, they could change based on what's actually happening. So.
Okay, well, I just wanted to know, like, the board's opinion on, is that a violation if, because the law and the permit is to the property and the owner and not to, and for the entire year, which includes owner use, and that's my question, and I believe Tim Hanlon thought, oh, he actually said that's a good question. So I guess that's what I'm asking, is if an owner is there using their property and let's say their empty garbage can is left out there for 26 hours, is that a violation?
That's a violation.
Right. And so when I asked Chris about this question about garbage, he did provide me the actual garbage ordinance and said that the owner would be tacked with the town fee plus the short-term rental fee. And so that's why I'm just saying, a law should be pretty clear cut, and this seems to be a gray area, and I just want clarification. That's all. That's all I'm looking for.
Diane, that scenario was where if it was a short-term rental, being used as a short-term rental, that there's a chance, correct me if I'm wrong, that if it's being used as a short-term rental, it would fall on both penalties would apply. But if it's just owner occupied, isn't being used as a short-term rental at that time, then it would just be the short-term rental. It would just be the owner occupied.
Yeah,
like
but
the owner.
ordinance.
Yeah.
But but the town ordinance doesn't have something that says that you have to pick up your garbage can after 24 hours, correct?
No idea. I don't have it.
I don't have it either, but there
Okay.
are, particularly the garbage ordinance, like having a food container and other things that are geared on short-term rental. ordinance. You want to
Okay.
Look into that and get back.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And then I know there was talk about removing, well, and one of my thoughts was that could they at least just, remove the empty garbage can? Is that a threat to public safety? I mean, an empty garbage can as a violation seems to be a lot. I get full garbage spilling out, being a nuisance. I get that. But an empty garbage can seems kind of excessive. And I did want to answer Karen's question because she did ask me a question about, commented that you could just do the appeal process. The appeal process would be, quite frankly, too long because to wait until the next board meeting, and these board meetings are pretty full to begin with, to come in front of the board to appeal a violation, and that's what we would have to do. That could be most of the rental season. And now you're actually unable to operate, correct? And you're also canceling and disturbing people who had vacation plans for potentially a very long time.
The board always has a right to call a special meeting
Okay.
and,
Whoa. Have you gotten any violations?
No,
saw
but
that?
but this is a law and I'm just trying to understand it so that we can comply with the way it's intended to be written.
Like you're complying if you haven't gotten any violations.
But it doesn't, but with all due respect, the law needs to be as transparent and clear, so I'm asking for clarification. And I think there may be other people who have the same questions, maybe not answering them, but I don't really care. I would like to know what the law and what the opinion of the board is and what the process would be, because I do feel like it's a long time to wait. The rental season is very, very short. It's like 12 weeks. That's it.
Board has meetings every 2 weeks.
Okay.
I don't know that 2 weeks is that long.
No,
And
but
I don't want to cut off your public speaking if you want to do this in public, but it might be more efficient for you to write all these questions down, maybe send them to Chris, and we can discuss. Chris and I can discuss, we can discuss as a board. It's up to you. I don't know if you're here to make this a public
No,
issue,
not at
or
all.
if you just really want your questions answered.
no, I
that-
really want my questions answered and I was asking for the opinion of the board, not just Chris. I have had
I have a
questions.
question. Why don't you just take the garbage can in? We're spending more time here now.
Because
talking about the garbage can.
because,
Well, let me finish.
go ahead, sure.
We're spending more time right here of 15 people talking about a hypothetical situation where somebody doesn't want to bring a garbage can in 2 hours earlier.
It's not that we don't want to, it's just that sometimes the garbage pickup is so inconsistent that it's hard to know when you can go over and do that. Sometimes also an owner, and that's a thing, like, do I tell an owner that they got to pick up their can within 24 hours too?
Yes.
Okay, that's, and that's what I would just want to know. That's all I want to know. That's it. Also, I do know that they were talking about the retaining walls restriction. There are lots of retaining walls in Luzerne, and oftentimes, some of them have been, are necessary for erosion control, that type of thing. And there are other structures as well that may be not compliant. And sometimes the removal of them actually makes a property more or less safe than if they were allowed. So, I do believe that, that might have been considered just to maybe put some verbiage in that would have said that if it was a detriment for removal, that it could be allowed. I guess lastly, I'd just like to comment on Karen's, and her talk about septics and, waiving some engineer plans and types of things like that. I don't really think that a financial consideration should waive any kind of septic regulations. especially if it's something that's around the lake. I think that that's paramount, and someone's financial ability to pay should not come into it. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'd like to just quickly clarify, there's no automatic suspension of the short-term rental permit if there is a violation. There's no provision for that in the ordinance, so like we all said, there hasn't been a violation on a existing short-term rental. So actually, there
Yes,
was, has been
he's
one.
talking about the individuals. I think what you're saying, Chris, is if something happens, it doesn't automatically mean a suspension.
Exactly.
Right. Now, if there are
Couple of
multiple violations that have been issued, it's still not automatic that the permit gets yanked, if I remember right.
No, but I believe if it's egregious enough, I'm given the authority to
Right.
to suspend it. And like
Right.
Diane was saying, you have to come to the town board to petition an appeal. So
All right.
it's in the law.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Feel embarrassed because I got more problems than I have.
We're thankful.
My name's John O'Reilly. I live at 19 Old East River Drive. There's only 2 houses there. There's no outlet road or anything. It's right by the bridge. I live there all year round. The other people, they're hit and a miss. But the issue here is that the first week of June, I have a 18 deep by 32-inch wide insulated box that is built around a cooler, and I put eggs in that to sell. I supply eggs for me and my wife. I supply eggs for my son, a family of 4, and my daughter, a family of 3. And the only reason I sell the eggs is that it tries to offset the cost of my feed. I make 0 money. If anything, I lose money, but I love the chickens. I'm retired. And that's basically what I do for entertainment. But Chris showed up taking pictures of it one day, and I walked out on my porch. He saw me, we talked, told me I needed a permit to sell the eggs. I thought it was a joke. So I went in and spoke to Karen the next day. In my head, I was kicking and screaming because I was willing to pay the $50 to get the permit just to stop any aggravation. Well, come to find out, I'm in a zone that I can't even do that. It's so ridiculous. I don't need, I thought it was another joke. I don't understand why other people can sell firewood and eggs if they want, but I'm in a zone that I can't do that. And I just want to know why.
All right, I'm sorry, I caused problems up here. I'm
You have all night.
What'd you do? What'd you do now?
I hit the microphone, you guys, the cord.
Okay, Mike, your mic is off for now until I can fix that.
Sorry.
You want to share it?
That's right.
Karen,
They're taped together.
can you comment on what zone he's in and all that?
He is in the Hamlet residential zone, and what selling eggs on the roadside is considered roadside retailing, and roadside retailing is not allowed in the Hamlet commercial or the Hamlet residential zone. So when he came in and we discovered what zone he was in, I had to inform him that he's not, the zone, it isn't allowed in his zone to do roadside retailing. And we talked quite a bit about it, and I said to him, the only solution, first of all, well, if he were in a zone where it's allowed, you have to go through a site plan review, which is $100, and then you have to pay a $10 permit fee a year to do a roadside retailing on your property. And again, the only 2 zones that it's not allowed in is Hamlet residential and Hamlet commercial. I'm sorry, Hamlet residential and Hamlet industrial. So we talked about, the way the regulation is set, and I told him that the only option that he really had was to come and talk to the board to see if we could change the use table to include roadside retailing in Hamlet residential zone. There are other people that have had tried to have roadside retailing in the Hamlet residential areas. If there's enough area for like cars to pull off safely and whatever, that's what, when the planning board does a site plan review for these roadside retailing, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for, is it going to interfere with traffic? Is there enough room to pull over safely? That you're not putting up a sign that's, too large, distracting from, your driving lane, that type of thing. And so when we were talking about this with this gentleman, I said to him, his only option would be to petition the board to try and change the use table to have it allowed in that zone, but it would still have to undergo a site plan review to make sure that wherever it was safe for people to pull off and be able to take whatever is in this roadside stand. But right now, based on the table, it's not allowed in Hamlet residential.
There's more than plenty. I mean, you could drive a tractor trailer up there. He can, no problem at all. For safety issue is no issue at all there.
When he first had this stand there, it was down on East River Drive.
Yeah.
And I don't want to throw you under the bus here, but
You can do whatever you want, honey. I'm sorry, Karen.
it had been moved back up onto his property, which is Old East River Drive area. But it's still in the Hamlet residential zone and it's not really allowed.
What about the comment about the firewood? You can do firewood, is that?
Well, there were
was
a
it?
couple of other people that anyone that I know of that has the firewood stands has come in and gone through a site plan review for them. There were a couple that we just found recently that we sent out letters on that they had these roadside stands set up and they hadn't been through a site plan review. And the two people that we cited voluntarily took them down. We didn't ask them to take them down. They were, in both cases, they were able to come in and go through a site plan review, but they chose to remove the roadside stands. We didn't ask them to. It was their decision to remove them. But everyone else, so far that I'm aware of, unless I haven't come across any, somewhere I haven't seen it, everyone else has been through their site plan review for these roadside stands for the firewood.
Who owns East River Drive?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Who owns Old East River Drive? Is that a town road?
The town plows it.
Town maintains it.
It used to be a parking lot. And it shrunk it down to a turnaround.
That's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother night.
But yeah, it's town.
If you consider changing the use table, you have to have a public hearing on it because it's part of the ordinance and whatever, but.
Well, can you give me your address again?
My address, 19 Old East River Drive. I'm the only house there. The other one's gonna implode in on itself soon.
Okay. And you said it's a cooler?
Yeah,
You
it's,
sell to-
Chris has got a picture of it.
No, how many people do you think you sell to?
Well, now I have them come to my house, which is what I didn't want.
Okay.
Cause I have dogs that go absolutely crazy.
But how many would you say you were selling?
Probably 3 to 4 dozen a week. But I don't think that's the issue here
No,
about
but
how many
if-
I'm selling.
If you can just give us some time, we can look at it and maybe come up with a solution.
I think we have to have a medium here as far as your permits and that. Just my personal opinion,
I understand.
okay?
But when.
Every
this-
time we turn around, we gotta pay money. I'm tired of having money extorted out of
What
my
I'm trying to
pocket.
say to you is we might be able to come up with something. If you can give us a week or two, I can look at this and see if there's something else we can do. But
Okay.
It's hard when it's just.
I really
one
wish some of
person.
you guys would come over there. Hell, I'll even give you eggs to taste them. It's a big, demand for them. I can only have so many to sell because I feed my kids and my family and everything. But,
Sir, what kind of chickens you have?
all kinds. I got Rhode Island Reds, I got Americanas, which lay the green and blue eggs.
Yeah.
I got black sapphires.
I just, I don't know where the board stands. I agree with a lot with what you're saying. Give us a week,
Okay.
figure it out, okay?
If you knew.
Maybe 2.
If you knew how they cleaned the eggs when you get them from Stewart's and stuff like that, you'll stop eating them and you'll come to me. Because when a chicken lays an egg, it lays it with a bloom over it. It's a protective shell or a protective coat. If they're clean, do not wash them because they'll last for 5, 6, 7 months. As soon as you clean, if they get a little doo-doo on them, I clean them, but most of the time I try not to clean them because of that bloom. Then they're only good for 3 months. And there's a big, big difference eating my eggs compared to store-bought eggs.
I've got chickens as well. You're right.
Yeah.
There is.
I mean, not to get gross or anything, we just processed 50 chickens at my daughter's house. We do turkeys, we do pigs, not at my house, but
Don't throw
we're trying to
yourself
live
under
off
the
the
bus.
farmland kind of thing, or so to speak.
We'll look into it, but it's a complicated issue because zoning is law.
Well, Corinth doesn't have the same law. Hadley doesn't have the same law. It seems like Luzerne is the one that enforces all this. Because when I lived on County Route 24 in Corinth, before I moved to where I am now, I sold eggs, I sold wood, and I never had an issue at all. And the people up and down County Route 4, there had to have been maybe a half a dozen more people that sold wood, never had an issue until I moved here.
Mary, are you thinking of like a minimum threshold in order to trigger? Okay, that's what I was thinking as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Give us a couple weeks.
Just one other thing I would like to say too, this water bill went up $700 in a year, went up $200 in a year. I want to know who's paying for the water. I have a water test station right in front of my house, okay? They test that water every single day. Who pays for the water running down in the river? Because this is the first year since I've lived there, which is 6 years, that the water has been turned off. Other than that, it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year. It's hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of gallons that has run down into the river. And I'm wondering if we're now the ones that are paying for that water that has been wasted down in that river.
Is that Corinth?
I think it's supposed to be only running during the winter. So it doesn't freeze up and they can test the water.
Right.
I don't know why it's running, but it's been shut off, right?
It's turned off now.
It's turned off
This is the
now.
first time it's been turned
I'm
off in
not
6
sure
years.
why he was running it during spring, I don't know.
But they get a sample of water, probably 4 to 6 inches
Yeah.
of water. Some guys will show up there and run it for less than 5 minutes. Other guys will show up there and run it for a half hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
20 minutes is protocol, but I don't know why there's the difference.
Right. But that's a lot of water being wasted and we're paying for it. So who's paying for the water that's being wasted? I think we are now. That's where that $200 comes in.
Well, I'll explain that part. That has nothing to do with the town of Lake Luzerne.
But I pay the town of Lake Luzerne.
Yes, but we get bills from Hadley.
No, correct.
Corinth, I'm sorry, Corinth.
Yeah,
They have,
I know.
when they did their whole water system about 2 years ago, they put a meter on their side of the bridge where the water comes through. And that's what we have to pay to them.
Why isn't there a meter where it's being used?
They
I want to
could-
know where that meter
Correct.
is so I can go
It-
check it out.
It could be, well, it's on their side. We could have meters on every house like we have in Lake Luzerne.
Right.
But you're gonna invest 150,000, roughly 100,000, somewhere in that area.
Who, me or you?
No, you. That's what happened in this town too. Everybody had this was many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not cheap to put a meter in. My honest opinion,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell you to drill a well.
Well, that was gonna be my next thing. When and if I drill a well,
You save the rest of it in about 4 years, but.
no, I know.
It's not us. We don't make a penny on that. We pay their bill when it comes in, X amount of dollars divided by X amount of people, everybody pays the same.
And the other thing is that yesterday I came in to pay my water bill. I was 8 hours late and I am being told I gotta pay $35 late fee. I live from pay to check, paycheck to pay. Well, it's Social Security now because I'm disabled. And $35 is a big hit to me.
The due date on the bill.
I don't, if I would have put it in the mail on Friday,
You would have been.
postmarked Friday, you wouldn't have got it until Tuesday or Wednesday. I showed up yesterday.
But
I'm
we
8
accept
hours
postmark.
late.
We accept postmark.
Well, I'm just asking you to accept 8 hours. Cause I don't have $35. It's ridiculous. It's just money being extorted out of our pockets. It's sad when you gotta live like that, you know? I pay my taxes on time and you're gonna ding me for a permit for selling eggs and you're gonna ding me for a $35 late fee. It's disgusting. Totally disgusting. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. Anybody else?
Do we need to change the tape?
Yeah, we got about 5 minutes left on it.
All right, you got 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
I'll be 3 minutes. You okay, Chris?
Hang on a second. How about 3 minutes? That's all we got.
Good, quick.
All right, just hold on.
I want to cut you off.
All right,
I
I'm gonna
want-
amend that. I have a 40-minute speech here. Put 2 tapes in. Mary, I can't hear you.
Oh, I mean, he had 45 days.
That's right. That's what
This guy
happens.
wants it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. It's one team of the other team right now. Cincinnati Reds. 3-0.
Who's that?
You wanted Kurt?
On the screen. Who's that?
That's
Daughter,
it, that's it.
Daughter?
the doc.
Okay, microphone's back on. I'm ready to roll. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, first of all, I want to thank the board for approving the funds to the Lake Luzerne Association. And I want to make sure that you all understand that any and all equipment that we purchase will be turned over to the town, and hopefully the school will be able to use that as well, because we're looking to involve Hadley Luzerne High School. I'll get to that in a second. The next thing, and I don't want to forget this, is Saturday, this coming Saturday at 9:15, the Lake Luzerne Association meeting will be at the pavilion, and you're all invited. Mr. Merlino will be giving the state of the town. That shouldn't be more than 45 minutes to an hour. After that, we'd like to hear and see as many of you there as get there. I just want to give you a little bit of update of what we've been doing, and it'll be very brief. We've spent right now a total of 128 total hours on the lake, our volunteer crew. We have scheduled for the summer 14 total trips on the lake with both CSLAP group, the citizens group that we go out and do the lake survey. We have a fireworks survey, which we did today, which involved high school students. We're actually training them how to gather water from the lake, and we send it out to the labs, and that's a statewide. We got a grant for that. We have presentations scheduled. Today we had soil and water, Warren County soil and water. The divers were out. Jim already mentioned they found 2 little milfoil plants in the lake today. Larry Eichler, who was out last week from Darren Institute, had found one. So we're doing very well on the lake, with the lake. We're out at least twice a week. This high school group that we've got involved, we've got 10 students, 2 teachers, and any equipment and all equipment that we get for them will be utilized in the school. We've had parents being down there with their kids and very excited about the program that we've started. We haven't found another area in Warren County, maybe the state, where high school kids are getting involved with our citizens scientist group that we have. So we're very proud of that, and it's a tribute to the town board for their support, and we thank you. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you. Any last chance? Anybody else last one? Right, Mary, what do you want to go in exec? You have to do that speech.
Yeah, so executive session to discuss prospective litigation and contracting with a particular individual.
I make that motion with the understanding we'll be conducting no other business. As soon as we go back to regular session, the only thing we'll do will be adjourned.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, carried.
You're adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
So.